This dog doesn't chase, he doesn't bark much. He doesn't rush toward people when they show up. Most people see that and assume he's harmless. They think danger looks obvious. They think a dangerous dog is loud, reactive, aggressive, constantly moving. But that's not how real danger works, because this dog does almost nothing. And that's exactly why he's dangerous. Not in the way people expect, but in the way that actually matters. Most people are taught that a good dog reacts quickly, that awareness means engagement, that confidence means movement. But fast reactions don't mean confidence. They usually mean uncertainty. A dog that reacts to everything is telling you something important. He doesn't know what matters yet, so he treats everything like it does. This dog doesn't. When someone walks by, he doesn't move. When there's a noise in the distance, he doesn't investigate. When the environment changes, he doesn't rush to respond. He waits. And that waiting makes people uncomfortable because humans are wired to trust motion. We trust smiles. We trust friendliness. We trust visible energy. Stillness feels suspicious. We see a dog like this and assume something is wrong, that he's unfriendly, that he's distant, that he's poorly trained. But what you're actually seeing is restraint, and restraint is rare. Most problems, and with dogs, with people, with systems, don't come from aggression. They come from acting too quickly, from reacting before understanding, from escalating before evaluating, from confusing motion with control. This dog avoids all of that. He doesn't assume safety. He doesn't assume danger either. He observes. That pause, that moment of doing nothing, is where the danger comes from. Because while other dogs burn energy reacting, this one is collecting information. He's watching movement. He's noticing patterns. He's tracking what belongs and what doesn't. And he's doing it without emotion. That's the part people miss. Most dogs react emotionally: fear, excitement, curiosity. This dog doesn't. He filters first. When dogs like this were developed, their job wasn't to interact. It wasn't to perform, and it definitely wasn't to make people comfortable. Their job was to stay present in environments that didn't stop moving. Livestock, open land, nighttime, unpredictability. There was no one there to supervise, no one there to correct mistakes, no one there to give instructions, so mistakes couldn't happen. That required a dog that didn't act unless action mattered, a dog that did nothing until something crossed a line. And when that moment came, there was no hesitation. That's why this kind of dog doesn't advertise himself. He doesn't posture. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't give warnings for attention, because warnings waste energy. People expect danger to announce itself. This kind doesn't, and that's why it's misunderstood. When people see a dog like this, they often try to fix him. They push socialization. They reward excitement. They encourage friendliness. They mistake neutrality for a flaw. And slowly, without realizing it, they train the restraint out of him. They turn a dog that evaluated into a dog that reacts. And that's when reliability disappears. Because a reactive dog may look impressive, but he makes mistakes. A dog that does nothing gives himself time. Time to decide if something matters. Time to choose the right response. Time to avoid unnecessary action. Most failures don't happen in dramatic moments. They happen quietly. A dog wanders too far. A dog follows the wrong movement. A dog reacts to the wrong thing. Small decisions. Wrong timing. This dog avoids those mistakes by staying still. People think stillness means passivity. It doesn't. It means control. He's not frozen. He's not confused. He's not unsure. He's deliberate. And deliberation is uncomfortable to watch because we live in a culture that values immediacy, response, engagement. We reward dogs for doing something, anything. Sit, come, look at me. But control isn't about doing something. It's about knowing when not to. This dog understands that. That's why he doesn't impress people right away. He doesn't create dramatic moments. He doesn't perform. He doesn't demand attention. He just quietly prevents problems. And prevention is invisible. You only notice it when it's gone. This is why experienced handlers value dogs that look boring. Because boring means predictable. Predictable means stable. Stable means safe. A dog that's constantly moving is often compensating for uncertainty. Movement becomes a coping mechanism. Excitement becomes regulation. This dog doesn't need that. He's already regulated. People often confuse friendliness with confidence. They're not the same thing. A dog that needs to greet everyone is often seeking reassurance. A dog that remains neutral is usually already secure. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need engagement. He doesn't need approval. He's grounded. That grounding allows him to stay exactly where he's needed. And that's what makes him dangerous, in the right way. Not because he's aggressive, not because he's threatening, but because when action is required, it's precise. No wasted energy, no emotional escalation, no hesitation, just decision. This is also why so many dogs like this are misunderstood. They're placed in environments that demand sociability. They're evaluated by standards they were never designed to meet. When they don't perform socially, people assume something is wrong. They try to correct it, and the dog loses what made him reliable. You can train excitement into a dog. You can train friendliness into a dog. But once you remove restraint, it's very hard to put it back. That's why restraint matters. That's why stillness matters. That's why doing nothing isn't weakness, it's discipline. A friendly dog makes people feel comfortable. A restrained dog keeps systems stable. And in serious environments, stability matters more than approval. So when you see a dog that does nothing, that doesn't rush, doesn't react, doesn't seek attention, don't assume he's harmless. He might just be waiting. And waiting, when paired with judgment, is one of the most dangerous skills there is. Because action without restraint creates chaos. But restraint, applied at the right moment, changes everything. And most people never notice the difference. Because when a dog like this does his job well, nothing happens at all. And most people never notice the difference. Because when a dog like this does his job well, nothing happens at all.